The holidays are over, but golf's not. Tee up, Carolina people, this morning. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Embassy Suites Resort at Kingston Plantation, home of the 13th annual American Hardball. We're focused on the golf industry and having a unified voice along the Grand Strand. And we're visiting with Mickey McCamish, the president of Myrtle Beach Golf Holiday. Good morning, Mickey.
Good morning, Greg.
Thanks
Good
so
to see you this
for coming
morning.
in early this morning.
Thank you. Thank you for having me this morning.
It's great that we grabbed a little latte here at Starbucks before we got started. They're going strong here early this morning.
It does. It wakes us up, doesn't it?
It does. Absolutely. And, of course, you're up normally so early in the mornings with, I think, oftentimes passing your office golf holiday. I understand you're in not in as that early, but up early in the mornings.
You're right, Greg. My routine starts at about 4 in the morning, and I start off with a little exercise just to make sure the heart's in good shape. Oh, yeah. So do a little bit exercise, 20 to 30 minutes of exercise, then head into the office and work about an hour, and then I go and exercise for another hour and 10, 15 minutes, then back in the office by 6:45 to start the day's work till about 6:45 at night.
Is that right, Mickey? How do you keep it going? So let's see, till 6:45 at night. Do you normally go to bed pretty early?
I do, Greg, because you really just can't burn the candle at both ends, as they say.
Right.
And so I'm usually in bed by 9 o'clock, sometimes 9:30, but most of the times by around 9 o'clock.
So 9 to 4, a good 7 hours sleep every night. Make an effort to do that.
That's right. And I usually sleep pretty soundly because by then I'm tired out and go right to sleep. Because, a lot of times you can go to bed early and you'll toss and you turn, and so you really don't get a good night's sleep. But when I do go to bed, I am ready to do the job at hand, and that's to go to sleep.
Oh yeah, it's going to be tough staying up for the hardball here in a couple of weeks on Saturday the 17th. That's a 6 to midnight event. Are you sure you're up for it?
I'll rest up for it, Greg, and it's great what the Herald is doing, and thanks so much for including me as a part of one of your guests at the Hardball.
Absolutely, Mickey. Of course, it's so great when we think about folks who are really making a commitment to the community, whether it's groups like the Herald, in particular groups like Golf Holiday, who year after year after year continue to make that. And, of course, we were thinking earlier as we started, 10 years as the president, now serving in your 10th year.
It's hard to believe, Greg. The element of time, I know we say it, but it does go very fast. And I think it's because a lot of things in golf, in the golf marketing, you only do once a year. There's only one World Am that we do once a year.
Right.
And there's only one spring golf season. There's only one fall golf season. But to prepare for those seasons, it takes months on months and a lot of hours, a strong staff to enable us to pull those marketing events off. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it just goes so very fast.
It does. The 10 years has blown by, but you've been at Golf Holiday even longer than a decade.
I have. I came to Myrtle Beach in 1994, and the purpose of my coming here was to chair the Senior PGA Tour Championship. Uh-huh. I had a similar event in Delaware with the DuPont Company, the LPGA Championship, and Cecil Brandon and Bob LeCompte recruited me from DuPont to come here to chair that event. Mm-hmm. And I chaired the event for 4 years. And then when Cecil stepped down as president of Myrtle Beach Golf Holiday, the board selected me to follow Cecil. And I feel most fortunate to have followed him.
Oh, yeah, and I think he got a big award from the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce this year, either as was he the Pioneer of the Year?
He was the Pioneer of the Year. Again, another community event sponsored by the Herald. But he was Pioneer of the Year, and Cecil was most deserving of that. All of the work that he did as a founding father of Golf Holiday, and how the area has grown from 6, 7 golf courses up now to we have 99 golf courses open as we sit here today speaking. And, of course, that's down a little bit. In the early part of this century, we were at 120, 121 golf courses. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But there have been about 23 golf courses since 1999 where the business plan has changed, and it was modified for another use of the land. Mm-hmm. And those courses have done very well as they chose their other business plan, but those that are remaining have done really well. For example, this year, ending in 2006, The rounds per golf course are an 8-year high. It's up 6.5%. So it's a win-win. It's a win for those that are staying in the business, and it's a win for those whose business plan change for redevelopment or another use of the land.
Mm-hmm. Oftentimes redevelopment is an issue, and I'm sure there's still folks probably thinking about putting more courses in. The business plan being as viable as it is for the 99 courses in Horry, Georgetown, and Brunswick County that are members of Golf Holiday.
You're exactly right. There are. Opening up here just right after the Heart Ball will be Leopard's Chase, as a matter of fact.
Right.
And then coming on in the fall of the year will be Jaguar's Lyre, as well as the Founders Club at Pawleys Island will be opening up in the fall of the year. Mm-hmm. And then also at Wild Wing, there'll be 9 holes. The Hummingbird course will open as a 9-hole course in early summer or late spring, one of those 2 times. And right now, Pine Lakes is being renovated, but it will open up in the fall of 2008. With all of those openings, then that will bring our total to just under 104 golf courses.
Right. Mickey, for yourself, do you ever have any time to get out and play?
Greg, it's funny because people think because you're in the golf business, because you're in golf marketing, gosh, you're out there on the golf course all the time. And the truth of the matter is I have less time now to play golf than at any point in my life. And, it's just wanting to stay ahead of the market and to make sure that we are doing everything possible to bring any golfer and every golfer, expose them to the Myrtle Beach area because we are truly the golf capital of the world. But I just don't have the time to go out and enjoy the game myself.
Golf Holiday is pretty much all about business. Y'all don't necessarily encourage folks to come in and tour your facilities. You guys are really into marketing golf. I was about to say, for viewers who've got to get off to school or off to work, is there a good phone number to call? And, of course, I'm sure you encourage locals to call and to learn more about Golf Holiday, what you all do. You all have a great-looking website. But do you encourage folks to really, you guys are working all the time.
Sure, we surely are. And we use volunteers during the tournament. And the Golf Holiday office number is 477-8833.
Okay.
And certainly if there's those out there that would like to come and volunteer and help with any of our tournaments, we would never turn away a volunteer. You always welcome volunteers with open arms.
Oh, yeah.
But you're right. Our job is to market Myrtle Beach, not only in the States, but around the world, as Myrtle Beach as the #1 golf destination in the world. Mm-hmm. And we do a lot of things to make that happen, all the way from print to television to the internet to national radio, a lot of different mediums that we use to get that message out.
You say the #1 golf destination in the world, Mickey. That's a pretty big claim. Yeah. What are some other communities that would like to think of themselves as big ones that you continue to remind that we are #1?
We do have the target on our back. Everyone tries to follow us. Certainly, we like to keep a lot of our marketing secrets to ourselves and only expose them till after they're done. Orlando would be our #1 competitor, for example.
Is that right for golf?
For golf, yeah. Orlando, I would see, as our #1 competitor. Phoenix, Scottsdale area is another area that is a very strong competitor to us. And, with destinations like that, that's where air service comes in. 50% of the golfers that we bring here fly. And so, therefore, air service, point-to-point air service in particular, is extremely important to us. All of us, as we travel, we like to avoid Atlanta. We like to avoid Charlotte. We stay away from those places because making connections cannot be a lot of fun sometimes. And so the point-to-point service is what we've tried to encourage as we go out and recruit the airlines. And we support that point-to-point service with marketing dollars. We market the destination, but we also would do a tag that would say, okay, you can travel to Myrtle Beach via a certain airline.
Right.
Myrtle Beach Direct Air from Niagara Falls, for example, or Pittsburgh, or from the New York area.
Absolutely. Myrtle Beach Direct Air, a new one that's just kicked off and, of course, getting a lot of bang right now. I saw a great piece about them just last week, and I think the lines were out the door.
They were. And, Greg, one of the challenges with an airline is while I'll do a lot of marketing and can fill the airline coming southbound, it's important to fill it northbound as well. And that's where promotions like what Myrtle Beach Direct Air did for our community, it helps the community, it helps the airline because it fills that airliner going northbound with people from our local community. So the community benefits and the airline benefits as well. So it's a great promotion, and it's one of the challenges that we face when we go out and we recruit an airline, because the airliner has to be filled both ways.
Oh, absolutely. Of course, speaking of airlines, and of course, obviously, your office on the former Myrtle Beach Air Force Base, very close to the potential new terminal.
Yes.
Out on right off of the former Air Force Base, on former Air Force Base land.
Right.
The opportunity to have a big new terminal is just seems like it's right on the edge. Mickey, any thoughts right now about what's happening with the
Well, Greg, the most important thing to us in the golf tourism industry is bringing airlines here. And to an airline, the most important thing to an airliner is, what is it going to cost me to land in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina? And it's, what's the total cost? What's the cost of the terminal rental space, the ticket counter space, the common area? What's the cost of the landing fees? What's the cost of the into plane fuel fee, the delivery of the fuel from the tank farm to the plane itself? So what is the total cost of landing an airliner in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, versus going to, say, Orlando, our competitor, or to Phoenix?
Right.
And that's what's important to an airliner. So it's important that regardless if it's the old terminal or a new terminal, that those costs are in line, existing costs or future costs. Because if they're not in line, then our airliner could pass us up and choose not to come here just because we're not cost competitive. And the incentive packages that are offered airliners, almost all airports are offering those incentive packages. Are our incentive packages, are they competitive with the incentive packages of other destinations? Those things we need to make sure we keep in line so that they are favorable to attracting an airliner here. Certainly from us, from the golf tourism community, we would support by marketing, again, the airline with the destination. So whether it's a new terminal or an old terminal, it's really more important to try to get the airline here, and the cost to the airline is the most critical elements to us.
Of course, you know, on the construction of a new terminal, I was about to say you could take advantage of some of the dollars that would be expended to build a new terminal, instead utilize those as incentives. But obviously a lot of those dollars are for fixed construction, whether it's $43 million from Congress or $15 million from the governor trying to tap the state for that. Those are really dollars that would be allocated to construction, wherein if there was some way to get a pool together to help offer incentives to the airlines to really cut some of those costs for them, whether it's taking the fuel from the tank farm over to the liner themselves. Are there ways to try to get around that?
Well, that's exactly right. There are, because there are perhaps there are revenue sharing streams that could be developed. Just the one that you gave as an example. The terminal revenue concession fees, another example, because you know, when we all travel, we usually stop and spend some dollars in one of the shops along the way. And so there are revenues that are gained from that as well. There are also revenues that can't be used necessarily for an incentive program, but that the airport does benefit from each enplanement that occurs. For example, there's a passenger facility charge, and that's a $4.50 charge for everyone that enplanes in Myrtle Beach. $4.39 of that goes to the airport. It is used for construction, so therefore it's a capital fund. So if we had 750,000 enplanements this past year, then that meant that that was approximately about $3.6 million.
That $4 adds up.
It does. It adds up, and that can be used for capital projects. And there's another fund like that, the contract facility charge, the CFCs at $4 a day. That too can be used for construction for capital projects at the airport. But there are other funds, other revenues that go into the airport that perhaps could be used for incentives to help keep the cost of the airlines down. And that's a critical component.
Of course, folks talk about airports. Obviously, you know, this is such a big debate in the county. The debate right now is not whether or not it should happen at all. It's where it happens or when it happens. Obviously, the recognition is, you know, we think about communities like Orlando. The airport there, I guess, is not right in the heart of Orlando. It's a good drive from anywhere, albeit folks who are flying to Orlando, as you know, are flying there for one reason, or for many reasons, golf or for Disney or otherwise, and they don't mind how far they got to drive when they get there.
Just landed in Orlando in a private plane that was with Steve Hodges, that unfortunately passed away about 6 months ago, and was co-piloting a plane with him. We landed on 180 right, and it's a dual runway, 180 left and 180 right. That is one of the things that needs to be considered for Myrtle Beach in terms of long-term planning, is a dual runway, 2 runways.
Right.
And Greg, it's not necessarily the fact that the air traffic will build up to use 2 runways. It's simply for the fact that when an airliner takes off from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, it can land in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. With 1 runway, like this past spring, when that runway was fouled for about 6 hours with a cargo plane, our airport was shut down.
Wow.
So when I have golfers coming in on an airliner, but they can't fly to Myrtle Beach because our airport is shut down. Myrtle Beach takes the rap. It's not the airline, but Myrtle Beach takes the rap. In terms of the long-term planning, and I know it's a political issue with the existing airport of where it's at, 2 runways is critical, and especially if you look at the international market. For us to grow in the international market, in the international golf market, and that is a great opportunity for us.
Oh, yeah.
We need the 2 runways, mainly because whenever the airliner coming across the pond, they want to make sure that they're going to be able to land in Myrtle Beach. And with 1 runway, that might not happen.
Right.
And it then becomes a logistical nightmare to the airline to try to get the people back, get the airliner back on its international schedule. So without 2 runways, essentially, it can disrupt the national air system and international air system.
That is a tremendous point. I bet that's one a lot of folks hadn't considered. If someone's flying across the Atlantic Ocean, get here and one of our runways is shut down for some crazy reason, we're really stranded.
We're stranded.
Yeah, because we only have that 1 runway.
We
That's
don't
a
have
great
the run
point.
one. And it also hurts us being competitive. For example, Charleston has 2 runways. So if an airliner is considered coming into South Carolina, they look at Myrtle Beach with only 1 runway, Charleston with 2, then perhaps we lose out whenever they consider that element of being able to land, and whereas the uncertainty of being able to land it in Myrtle Beach. But it's not necessarily because of the volume of air traffic. It's just simply for that airliner to be able to take off and to land. And you have to do maintenance on runways. So naturally, with 1 runway, you're limited on the time when you can do the maintenance.
Those are powerful issues, Mickey. Probably something a lot of folks hadn't thought about. And not to divert from that much, because as we talked about earlier, there's just not been a common, unified voice.
There has
Speaking
not
about
been.
the airport issue, you are, or Golf Holiday is, a common, unified voice for golf. For the most part, I guess you don't represent every golf course, but almost every golf course.
We represent 81 of the golf courses out of the 99. And those are all the golf courses that are really in the golf tourism business.
Right, right.
So we represent all of those golf.
You really do help speak for the industry there. As it relates to the airport issue, it's a little less.
And it's a very critical, important element to us because, again, 50% of the golfers that we bring in here fly. And so it's very important for us to be able to expand, to go out and bring in new airlines. This past year, we were down 105,000 seats. If I'd filled 50% of those with golfers, the economic impact in Myrtle Beach would have been $70 million.
Wow.
And we would have generated an additional $7 million in taxes for this area. So it's critically important that we make sure that we bring airliners in here and that we treat them as customers, just from the standpoint of the airport having the welcome mat out, the porch light on, and welcome them and make sure we're treating them right.
Absolutely. Mickey, I think some folks probably need to get off to work or out to school right now. The facts and figures, those basic facts and figures of the golf industry here on the Strand.
The golf for 2006, we did slightly under 4 million rounds of golf. We're down about 3%. But the average round per golf course was up 6.5%, over 42,000 rounds per golf course. It's the highest it's been in 8 years, Greg. And that's good news for those golf courses who've chosen to stay in the business.
But $1 billion annual economic impact.
The economic impact is $1 billion, and we generate about $100 million in taxes.
It's tremendous.
So it's critically important to our economy.
Golf
has so many tentacles. It goes all the way, not from the golf course to the local restaurants, to the 7-Eleven stores, to the gasoline, to the stations, to the shopping. It has a lot of tentacles that the community benefits from.
Very definitely, Mickey. You think about that. A lot of folks wonder about how Golf Holiday was founded, what prompted that. And I think it's pretty obvious now when you think about it. Clearly, the reason it got going, because there's truly a need. And of course, you've got some hoteliers that are also members of Golf Holiday.
We surely do. It was built as a shoulder season business to the beach. The beach is still the main reason that tourists come here. But then after September, traffic signals were deactivated. They were reactivated the following May. And all of that investment just stood, set, earning no return. Everything was shut down. And the business leaders came together and felt that golf would be a good shoulder season business. It would complement the accommodations business. And sure enough, the accommodations and the golf courses to form the golf package, it's been a great partnership that has worked since 1967.
Absolutely, and y'all are a nonprofit cooperative there. So, I mean, if there's interest from locals, if they couldn't be an actual member, but as you say, if they want to volunteer, even donate funds to help get the word out.
Sure, we are a nonprofit, and every penny that we earn, that we get, sponsorships, whether it be government grants, whatever the source is, dues from members, we invest back into marketing with the idea of turning those dollars over. So our budget is $9 million, but the economic impact that $9 million makes is almost $1 billion and generates $100 million in taxes. So it's quite a return to the community.
A $9 million annual budget. Of course, recently y'all have had isn't there some special strategies that are going on, a partnership with the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce?
We work extremely close with the Chamber. One of the things that we don't want to do is to duplicate. Research being an example, where there are joint things that we can do together that we both benefit from, advertising the airlines, marketing the airlines. So we work very closely together with the Chamber staff and the Golf Holiday staff to make sure that there isn't duplication of the effort, because after all, our goal is the same, to bring tourist golfers here. And certainly during the summer months, while I know they're here primarily for the beach, we hope that they won't forget their golf clubs and they'll play a round of golf.
Absolutely. And you all have a new website, is that right, Mickey?
We're in the process of redesigning our website. We will be upgrading our website here in 2007. And that came out of a new funding mechanism that we have for Golf Holiday that's based on rounds of golf instead of holes of golf or rooms on the accommodation side, but it's now based upon rounds of golf. And we combine that new funding structure with state matching money, and we've been able to have an additional $2 million, approximately $2 million, to market Myrtle Beach golf this year, and that's increased our budget to $9 million.
That is tremendous. It's still golfholiday.com, though.
Golfholiday.com, it is.
Very simple, very simple. We just got a minute, Mickey. When you're thinking about some of the new challenges in the golf marketing business, you all are faced constantly with folks like Orlando, Phoenix, Palm Springs, and others throughout the country that are constantly thinking of themselves and getting dollars from multiple sources to bring people in. What's the biggest challenge you all face going forward?
Greg, it's always funding. Just having enough money to go out and to market golf and to reach internationally, to even go, I'd love to reach network television, but to take that big step, that global step, to even go further in marketing. And it always comes down to the ability to have the dollars to do that. So it comes really down to having money. And as the state is changing their structure and their thoughts on tourism, with the awareness of the importance of Myrtle Beach and the tourism industry to the state, there's more dollars that are going to become available, and we'll be right there at the table when they're ready to tell us what the requirements are to get those dollars.
That's great. That's great. Very exciting. Mickey, thanks so much for
Greg.
coming in this morning.
Thank you.
On. Absolutely. Get back to your workout. That's
good
right.
to be here this morning, Greg.
Thank you. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Mickey McCamish coming up next. You know, we didn't get to talk about Mickey receiving the state's highest civilian volunteer award, But we did get the opportunity to talk about the need to have a unified voice, not only for golf, like Golf Holiday, but for issues like the airport, for issues like the I-73, for issues like a convention center or a trade center, big issues. These are all major issues. Fortunately, we've got a group as strong as Myrtle Beach Golf Holiday. We didn't get to talk to Mickey about his wife, Carol, and his 2 kids and where they are. It was fascinating hearing him talk about his daughter off camera. But we did get to talk about the updating of their website, golfholiday.com, and you heard him talk about call his phone number. He wants folks to know they can always come in and volunteer. Any great ideas, lots of folks coming together to spark ideas on how to bring more folks in. You know, a $9 million budget of which 90% is used almost entirely for marketing. That can go a long way. But it's not necessarily as far as those dollars that are being used, 50, 40, $80 million in other markets. We still have a long way to go. We've got to come up with creative ideas, and Golf Holiday day after day is coming up just with those. Check them out online at golfholiday.com.